Okay, guys, which one? I love them equally, and I don't know which one to purchase. I like the classical design in this one, and I love the colors in that one. I love them both. But I only have one hallway entry, so I have to decide. Okay, now I realize they have two different sizes, so I'm stuck on that too. Here they are. Finally found the square ones. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and I hope everybody out there is doing great today. Today what I want to share with you has to do with something that I uploaded a few weeks back, and it does relate to me personally as well. And so what I wanted to share was the fact that in 1972, in Reggio Calabria, the birthplace of many of my father's paternal ancestors, and between the coasts of Messina and Calabria, underneath the seafloor, two statues A and B, were found submerged under the sand. And so guys, the village where my father grew up is about a 2-hour drive from the very spot where these, they're called the Riace Bronzes. He grew up in the village that is about 2-hour drive from that spot. And the village is called Schindilifà, Reggio Calabria. And so, there are so many interesting things about these two statues, very fascinating to me. And I remember that we went to Italy the year before, in 1971. It would have been my first childhood trip to Italy with both my parents, after the one that I took with my mom when I stayed in the hospital. So I must have been not in my teens yet. So, you know, the statues are interesting for a great many things, and not only are they interesting for various things, but also they shed a lot of light on my own ancestral roots. And so this is a time where I've been digging and searching around, and I still can't come up with much, but this really interesting discovery points to a lot of fact, a lot of history that pertains to my ancestral roots. And so one of the first things that is so interesting about this discovery is the precise location. And that is because nobody really knows exactly why or how they actually got to that point. And there was no evidence of a shipwreck. If there had been evidence of a shipwreck, then it might have provided evidence for the fact that they would have been on the ship traveling from one point to another. But there was no evidence of a shipwreck, and but there was an Ionian temple at that time that was starting to submerge into the water. My guess is that these two bronze statues were hidden there, and probably because of the simple fact that in those days, the Greeks were in the custom of melting down their precious metals in times of economical duress. Probably, maybe, maybe to avoid an invasion from the Romans, or maybe the artists just simply put them there because they didn't want them to be melted down. And if that's the case, I agree, because there are two beautiful statues. Of course, they're in the nude, and I'm not going to show them to you, but I can maybe leave links in the description below. They're beautiful, guys. It's incredible how well they were preserved. And so the second most incredible thing about these two statues is, of course, as I just mentioned, their immaculate shape and durability. And so I would say I found online that they were constructed between the period of 420 and 460 BC. And so it's amazing, guys. Despite their very ancient age, they're almost in perfect shape. And it's incredible because also it comes from a time and place that is so remote to us, and a time and place that we don't actually completely understand yet. So it's amazing, isn't it? I'm speechless, I guess. And so, guys, like the time period from which they came, the place from where they came is also very incredibly interesting, because at that point in time, like the period, the place is so remote. And that region, Calabria, where my father's ancestors all came from on the paternal side, was known at the time as Magna Graecia. And so it was inhabited entirely by Greek-speaking people. And so it would have been before the Roman Empire. And so in those days, there was no Latin or Italian. Actually, vernacular Italian didn't even come along until the 1300s. So there you go. The next most fascinating thing about these two bronzes is the true identity. Nobody can really actually pin the true identity of these two statues, since they do not correlate with anything factual in contemporary Greek literature. We have to just leave it up to our imaginations as to who these bronze statues really represented. However, in those days, it was quite typical for Greeks to emulate mythological heroes through art, especially through sculpture. And so if it wasn't marble, it was bronze. If it wasn't bronze, it was something else. But typically, it would have been the mythology of the seven against Thebes. And so these two bronze figures would have been warrior heroes. So there you go. That's so interesting and very incredible. I just love thinking about that. And so, guys, these two statues were known or suspected to be the warriors, the mythological warriors from the myth Seven Against Thebes, and they would have been Tydeus and Amphiaraus. I hope I'm getting those right. And so the next incredible fact about these two statues was the material that they were made of. At the time it was Greek material from, Greece and the surrounding regions. But the interesting part about the material was that it was Carrara. Parts of it were made from Carrara marble. And so Carrara marble was actually what Michelangelo and many Renaissance artists used to sculpt with in the Renaissance period. And it became exclusively an Italian material used for home decor. So that is so interesting. And, the rest of the statue, besides being bronze, it was marble, copper, calcite, and Carrara marble. So the artist would have been from the specific period. I'm guessing it was carbon dated. They were carbon dated, and so they emerged. These two bronze statues emerged from a period in which the artists would have been. They corresponded to that period, Myron and Alcamenes. And so that is so incredible, guys. All those precious materials used for those bronze statues, and it survived miraculously under all that sand and water. Isn't that incredible? And so the last thing that I wanted to mention was that, so many different theories have been put forth as to, the origins, the identity, and how they got to be there. But one of the most interesting, and it can't be proven, one of the most interesting theory propounds that these two statues came from the mythological or allegedly imaginary city of Atlantis, which is supposedly now submerged beneath the ocean. And so, guys, there you have it. I don't know why I'm so fascinated by it, but it could be my roots are heroic. Wouldn't it be wonderful if those two figures were actually real men and related to my ancestors? You never know, can you? So, this is one of the things about archaeological discoveries that I never ever get tired of thinking or talking about these things, because especially this one, because it relates specifically to my dad's paternal roots. It's incredible. And if you've ever been to southern Italy, that part, okay, it's a little depressing up there in the mountains, but it's so beautiful, guys. It's incredibly beautiful. Maybe about as beautiful as the north. I'm not sure. I have to go back again and decide which is the most beautiful, but I love it all, guys. I love the entire continent of Europe, and I love Italy especially. So there's my little story that I wanted to share with you. And so what do you think about all this? What do you think? Hi everybody, I'm back home, and you know, one of the things that I forgot to mention, it's an important point, is that the Riace bronze statues are in classical contrapposto stance, and so that position for them to take, it sort of opened up so many avenues for Italian Renaissance artists when they began to make discoveries during that period of all of these classical sculptures. Of course, these ones weren't found yet, but many of the Renaissance artists did study the, you know, that pose, and they replicated it, they duplicated it in their own works. And so that was one of the most fascinating things that I found about these two particular bronze statues. Of course, during the Greek Empire, most of the art was created in the way that contrapposto, how do you say, it wanted to make the spectator think that the subject was striking a pose in order to imitate, I guess, or create an expression and a position, a stance of thoughtfulness. I don't mean consideration and kindness. I mean, you know, melancholy, pondering. It was a very big symbol that stood for intellectuality. So anyway, guys, that is so fascinating to me. And now, are you ready for a haul? Actually, I have two hauls, one little one and one a bigger one. So hold on and I'll show you what I bought today. So guys, I went back to Grace Textiles, and I was so in love with these pillowcases that I bought 5 of them. 2 of them, 4 of them are the same. One of them is completely different. And the thing is, guys, you know when I told you that I wanted to get runners? Well, the runners they didn't have the size that I needed. I also bought a tablecloth, and I decided to go for the shorter version of this rug, and so all of that came to $75. But you know what, guys, I may use 1 or 2 of these as a pillow cushion for my couch, and I decided that these solid colors would work very well. But I also want to use a couple of them just to lay out on the tables underneath the lamp, for instance. And they're so beautiful. They're so wonderfully worked. I'm so fascinated by these as well. So that's my Grace Textiles haul. And I'm very pleased with the purchases. This is like a bluey green tablecloth, and I'm hoping that it will blend with everything that I have in here. And guys, I'm going to put that runner over there, and I'm going to put some of those cases over there, and I have it all set up now. So what I did buy from Dollarama is 1 more canvas, and by the looks of my sketching, you know, my progress with sketching, it doesn't look like I'm going to be using this anytime soon. But now I have 2, one from the other day and one from today. I wanted 2 so I can, if I ever do make something, I can put them side by side. And I also bought some of these for the bathroom, some decorative shells, and I found my square cotton pads. And so all of that came to around $10. And so those are my hauls for today. So everybody, thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.